Hey everyone, my name is Miriam. Welcome back to my urban homestead. We are in the kitchen today and we're going to be working on some hot pepper jam. So I've got bell peppers, some from my garden, some from a friend's farm, and I've got some salsa peppers from my garden. We don't make salsa, and you might wonder, like, why did you get salsa peppers if you don't make salsa? And it's a lesson I've learned. We got it because people said, hey, you can grow the things you need for salsa. And it sounded like a great idea until I grew the things and I realized I don't make salsa. So lesson for us all, don't listen to what other people do. Do what works for you and your family. So I wanted to do something with the salsa peppers. They're on the spicy side, and so I'm going to make hot pepper jam. So I'm basically going to go through all of these bell peppers. I'm just going to cut them into halves, and then we are going to chop them up in the food processor. I have a quick shorts video from my friend's farm, and I'll post that so that you all could see what it looks like. She's got a cherry farm in a city nearby and grew a bunch of summer crops, some peppers, tomatoes, she even had corn. So she was super generous and shared her bounty with me, which is really cool. So I really wanted a colorful jam. So I've got mostly orange and orange peppers. We've got a few red peppers from my garden and some green peppers from my garden. They're technically yellow peppers, but they just weren't ripe enough. And I want to do this now. I don't want to wait. So we'll have a really colorful, pretty jam by the end of this. This is a recipe from the Ball canning book. I always get my canning recipes from Ball or the National Center for Home Food Preservation, because those are two organizations that test their recipes. They're tested for safety, and so I'm not a rebel canner. You won't find me doing rebel canning things. To each his own, but I like canning by the book. Just a couple more, and then I'll come back when it's time to get these diced up. All right, here's our last pepper. I love that this pepper is from my garden. It makes me feel really proud of myself. The recipe calls for 4.5 cups of bell peppers. This is way less than 4.5 cups of bell peppers. And that's all right. We're just going to measure how much this is when we're done chopping it all up. And then we'll do a proportional recipe. So we'll do like a half batch basically. So if this comes out to 2.25 cups, perfect. We could just divide everything by 2. We'll see. So it's 4.5, and this one still has a few peppers, a few seeds. It's 4.5 cups of bell peppers and half a cup of jalapeno peppers. We don't have jalapenos. We are going to use our salsa peppers. All right. There we go. Okay. Lock it in and chop. All right, I think that's good. It is really pretty. Look how beautiful that is. All right, so So pretty. All right, everyone, look at the beauty. I'm so excited about this. I can't even tell you how gorgeous it is. Oh my gosh. So I'm just gonna measure the bell peppers right into the pot. The recipe calls for 4.5 cups. If we get 2.25 cups, it'll be perfect, because then I'll just do a half batch, and that's easy math. So let's see what we get. I don't think we're gonna get 2.25. And I've used up all of the bell peppers I have. I think we're gonna get 2. So basically we have 2 cups. I'm gonna put in the last of what's in the food processor as well. Now I have the pressure canner heating up here. And I have 6 half-pint jars in there. That's what a full recipe is supposed to yield. So we may have 2 or 3. Now let's go ahead and get the hot peppers. Now I've got to say, I don't do heat very well, so I'm not gonna go for super spicy for this. I'm gonna put less than they suggest. So, got my gloves on. Suggestion, do not handle hot peppers without gloves. And then I'm going to really wash this cutting board extra well to ensure that I get all the oils off of the cutting board. We don't want any surprises when we use this for our next meal. So I'm cutting it open and I'm going to take out the seeds. If you take out the seeds and the ribs, it's less spicy. All right, that's that. Let's pull these gloves off. I hold the other glove in one hand and I gently pull it over so that my hands don't touch any of the oils. All right, let's see how much we get. Oh, wow. Woo! That is strong. I don't think I'm going to put all these peppers in there. Good God. I don't even think it's 1/4 cup, but dude, that's strong. We're just going to put a little bit because the heat of this thing, just the smell, has cleared my sinuses completely. Like, nose is dripping a little bit. So it's running, definitely running. So we're not gonna put all of it. I'm calling an audible, and yeah, executive decision. Now, some of these pieces are rather large. I'm just gonna get the pieces on the side. And maybe one more scoop. Because I don't want large pieces in here. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be enough heat, I think. Now again, this is a smaller batch. So instead of 1 1/4 cups of apple cider vinegar, I'm putting a little less than 3/4 of a cup. So it is the bell pepper, the apple cider vinegar, and 3 tablespoons of pectin. We're gonna put 1 1/2 tablespoons. That's 1. And let's do 1/2. Okay, 2 cups of sugar and 1 cup of honey. So let's do 1 1/2 cups of sugar. Let's mix it in. I could have used a smaller pot, y'all. Definitely could have used a smaller pot. This is like the prettiest contents of a pot I've ever seen. The colors are just gorgeous. I think it's gonna be plenty spicy. Hopefully not too spicy. The liquid in the peppers is also being released. So you can tell that as, you know, we cook the peppers a bit, they're also sweating down. Trying to figure out if the kick I smell is the vinegar or if it's the hot pepper. Either way, if we like this, we will make more next year, and I'll know. Or actually, we can still make more this year. We have peppers still outside, growing on the plants. And I'll know like what level of heat to put it at. All right, it's at a rolling boil. It looks like it's not. I can't stir it down. Now we don't have regular sugar like white sugar. We have sugar in the raw, so that's what we're going to use. One and a half. And we're going to continue to stir. And it is thicker granules than regular sugar, so I am gonna make sure I stir until it's fully dissolved. It does change the color a little bit, but that's okay. We don't have white sugar. We usually do, but we've run out. Boil hard for 3 minutes. Stir constantly. So let's put let's put 2 minutes 30 seconds on. Now when you are making any kind of jam, it honestly, this is a big bowl and it's probably too big, but it's better to have a larger bowl than a smaller bowl because it's very easy for jam to boil over. We got 2 minutes left. And you don't want to go anywhere when you're making jam. You want to stay right in front of it. It can boil over or burn very quickly. That's why you want to stir constantly. There is a good amount of foam at the top, and I will skim it off with a spoon. once we take this off the heat. You can also put a little bit of butter in your jam to keep the foam to a minimum. You can leave the foam in, but it makes your jam a little bit cloudy, so I prefer to skim it. We've got 1 minute left. I hope this comes out well, y'all. It's always a good idea when you are doing a new recipe that you're not sure about to do a small batch. Like, don't do a triple, quadruple batch of something that you've never made before, that you've never tasted, because you might not like it. And then you're kind of stuck with all this food that you spent all this time on, and you don't want to eat it. I've learned that the hard way. All right, off. Shall we taste a little bit? Not bad. It's got some spice, but not too much. Just that you kind of taste it a little bit. I like it. I like it a lot. Yay, I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much foam. Just on the sides here. It's already setting. And we don't throw out the foam, we just put it to the side and we eat it later. We have got our jars in the canner. All right, let's get jars out. Now, do you notice how I just tipped it over? I didn't tip it over this way because the water can run down and then burn you. So you want to tip it over so that the water goes in between the two arms there. First jar, and let me see, it might just be two, maybe 2.5 jars that we're gonna fill. Okay, we're gonna fill to 1/4 inch headspace. We've got a napkin and some vinegar here. And the odds of there being air pockets in here is slim to none, but we debubble anyway. And the vinegar, we run across the rim to make sure we get any sugar off. And you can see a tiny spot right there. We want to make sure that the rims are fully cleaned. We are putting our 4-jar lid on it. It's quite hot. Fingertip tight. It does not need to be super tight, fingertip tight. And we're going to pick it up and get it into the canner. So we just got 2 jars. And that's too much. I'm gonna take some of that out. You know, I'm a little bit sad, but it's all right. We gotta start somewhere. Oh, I'm making a mess. This one needs a lot of cleaning. Yeah, it's got a kick. I actually really like it. Okay, there we go. Fingertip tight. We've only got 2 jars, and I do need to add more water because they are not filled, they're not covered. So I'm adding more water to ensure that the jars are covered. And the water in the canner is hot, so I'm adding hot water. I'm not going to add cold water. The jar should be covered with 1 to 2 inches of water. That's just about 1.5. And I'm going to just place the lid. You don't need to close the lid. It's not water, it's not pressure canning, it's water bath canning. We've got the heat on. It will come back to a simmer and then it will boil. I do think this is really the prettiest jam. I can see why folks use it for Thanksgiving. It's like festive and fall colors. It's also great for a charcuterie platter. You could have it with crackers and cheese. I've lost the pot holders, don't know where they are. And so I don't feel like burning myself. We're just gonna use towels to remove this lid. You wanna be super careful because it's very hot and water will drip. So lift up and tilt it away from you so the steam doesn't hit you. Watch your toes. Ask me how I know. Watch your toes. If you've got sandals on that are open toe, be careful, because it will drip everywhere. Stopped boiling. A few bubbles still coming, but it stopped boiling. I'm gonna put the towel back down on the counter. So countertops, especially if you have stone countertops, are cold. It doesn't matter if the house is warm, they're still gonna be cool to the touch. These jars have been in boiling hot water, and so they're hot. So if you put them on a cold countertop, odds are the shock of the temperature change will cause your jars to break. We are not about breaking jars after the work we've done. We only have 2, but it took a lot of work, okay? So always put a towel down on your counters. Not so important if you have wood like butcher block, because that tends to not be cold like stone, but better safe than sorry. There we go. You'll notice and it's leaking because there's water on top of the jar. I do not tilt my jars. Some people do that. They'll pull it out and they'll tip it sideways to get the water off. I don't do that. The water is going to dry. don't worry about it. So we've got 2 full jars, and we've got this small amount. And I had my mother taste the jam and she loves it. I'm a fan as well. So this is really a keeper. Well, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm glad we got to do this project together. Give it a try. Hot pepper jelly, a great way to use up some of your produce from your garden. And if you don't have a garden yet, and I say yet, then go to your local farmer's market, get your produce in bulk, and be able to preserve it in lots of different ways. So it was super fun, very tasty. We will be doing this again. Feel free, like, subscribe, share this with someone else that you think might find it helpful and help the channel grow. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next video all. Bye.